You guys can make fun of me and make all the videos you want about me. I don't care. Say what you want. Put all the videos out there that you want, because frankly, I don't care what you think. So go ahead, all you trolls. Make videos about this. Go and make all the videos you want. Or you want to make videos about me? I just don't care anymore. I really don't care. I don't care if people re-upload this video. You can make fun of me all you want. It doesn't bother me.
Hey everybody, Dan King here. So I just saw Wally's recent community post where he's going to the police again about Dan King and the gang. He never learns and he never disappoints. Just to get you guys up to speed, in one of my last videos, I reached out to Maga Man's landlord and confirmed that he's not supposed to be shooting lead ammunition in his apartment. The woman I spoke to, laughed about it. She was like, "Did you want to use the hallway as a shooting range?" And she laughs because it's such a ludicrous, crazy thing for a normal person to do. And I made a video outlining this and telling Wally, hey, asshole, I got this. I confirm with your landlord that you're not supposed to be doing a thing in your apartment. And I also told Wally to just sit down and relax and have some CBD gummies and I'm not going to do anything, but stop poking and prodding me. So what do you think Wally did? He made this community post, and I'm sure there's going to be videos coming soon. And Wally, I would love to know what you said to the cops, okay? Because you're in Wally's thing. I'll put up his post on the screen. He's like, "Oh, I spoke to the police and they gave me tools to go after these guys." Again, Wally, didn't you go in December and report me to the police? And I'm still waiting to be hauled off in chains, okay? And the reason I'm not, because again, I have to break it down to you because you're a simpleton, okay? You can't harass people like me and reach out to, and out of nowhere, send them a message that says, "I'm going to do this, and if you don't meet my demands, this is what's going to happen." Okay, that's harassment, okay? That's the shit you're describing me doing. You did it to me first. And again, let's go down the rabbit hole, Walter. Let's say I get a phone call from CMPD, and they're all like, "You're harassing this poor disabled man," because I'm sure you whipped out that card immediately. "I'm this disabled hero from 9/11 who doesn't do anything at home, and these men are just coming after me," right? I'm sure you whipped out that card. And I'm sure the very first thing they said to you was, "Hey, Mr. Hillegas, maybe you shouldn't film yourself doing shit you're not supposed to do when you have a shitload of enemies out there in the world, because they're going to use that information against you." I'm sure they mentioned that right up the top as part of the tools that you should put in the toolbox. And you ignored all that and just are going after, how can I use you cops to go after Slippery Wet and Dan King? Well, nothing's going to happen, because if I get a phone call from them and they're like, "Yes, you're making fun of this poor man on social media," I could just say, "Well, first of all, I'm doing commentary. This asshole has his own channel, and he talks about shit, hate-filled shit all day long." Literally, the thumbnail for a recent video was a rainbow flag with a circle and a slash over it. I don't even have to have the cops, waste time listening to it. I just have to show them that thumbnail. I'm like, this is this guy. He infuriates his audience. And then I can go into detailed clips of you saying and threatening me on your channel. And then I could go into the more obscure things of death threats, which I know you going, "You can't prove it was me. You can't prove I was Andreas Jackson." Well, I can pretty much prove that you were Andreas Jackson and you're behind these other death threats. Because unlike you, I know you have a problem imagining people that are not you because you're a narcissist and you're crazy, whatever the fuck else is wrong with you. But when sane people go to the cops, I don't have any fucking enemies. I have one enemy. It's you. And like I said, the timing of it all, every time you're at the height of "I hate Dan King," suddenly I get weird emails and death threats. Okay, so it's you. And again, not to bore the audience, you gave out my email address to all these people. So if it's not you, you doxed my email address and one of your goons is threatening me. But we all know it's fucking you. So stop with the cops. Like, the last thing you want, Walter, again, sit down and try to, absorb what I'm saying to you. The last thing you want to do is to contact the cops about me, because I will just go into detail with the police about the shit you do. And then it'll get you into more trouble. Remember the Kevin Foley's mom defense? That guy is in a previous video. It's pretty funny. I break down how Wally tries to preemptively say that someone's a bad person to get out of problems. And he doesn't learn that, like, if you do something bad, if you murder somebody and then go to the police and say, yeah, the person, they were a bad guy and they did bad things before they, if anything happens to them, and then, like, when the cops find the dead body, they're not going to go, oh, well, this person deserved to die because Walter said that they were a bad person. Okay, it doesn't work. It's not going to work, Walter, if you try to defame me. And I'm looking at my notes because, again, I'm a professional YouTuber with notes. In my notes, in your little clip, you use again, you do aggravated harassment, slander, false accusations, and defamation. And again, Walter, like you have no idea what the amount of hypocrisy is fucking staggering with you. Okay, you have done all that to me. Okay, and when I make a video and I talk about the shit you do, and I have evidence of you doing it, it's not defamation. I'm not lying about you to ruin your reputation, okay? I'm showing you doing the shit that I'm saying you're doing. It's not defamation. Okay, if I say Walter's a crazy person, and then I show videos of you crying on the floor and putting a gun in your mouth and saying, don't resuscitate me, I'm sad, and putting up paperwork saying, oh yeah, Baron Yam, you thought my suicide was fake? Well, look at this medical paperwork. And on the paperwork it says, why were you at the hospital? For mental health. And then you put a paperwork how you were bipolar, but you're not anymore. And then you put a paperwork how you have PTSD. Okay, so, like, when I say crazy, I get it. It's rude. It's a mean way of saying it. But you have shown the audience that you have a history of mental illness, which I call crazy because I don't like you. Okay? Not defamation, because I'm providing evidence to the audience why I think you're crazy. Not defamation. Okay? And when I say you're a liar, and then I bring up evidence of you contradicting yourself and telling a flat-out falsehood, that's not defamation, okay? Anyway, I'm boring the audience. They get it. You don't. But stop. Like in my video, I was like, Wally, don't react because you just dig your own hole. And what are you doing? You call up the police. Stop wasting the fucking cops' time, asshole. We talked about this. This irritates me, okay? And again, Walter, the cops have been to your house. They have a little file. Again, you're so dumb and you think people just forget shit. They have in their little computer. They're like, this man committed suicide. This man, he's doing something that neighbors throw bottles at him, and he has 28, 27, 29 death threats. Like, it's in the system that you are some weirdo that is getting enemies somehow on Facebook. They may not know the exact reasons why, but, like, when you show up, be like, oh, guess what, cops? There's a guy after me again. They're like, oh, yes, and they're writing it down. But as trained professionals, Walter, what they're also doing is they're looking around your apartment, and they're looking at your mental state, and they're taking notes. Because, again, in their little computer, when they pull up, they're like, oh, by the way, Walter Hillegas has a history of mental illness and suicide attempts. So when you're at the apartment, you look around to make sure there's no weirdness going on. Like, that's what they would do in your apartment, Wally. They weren't frantically writing down your side of the story. It's like, oh, we're going to totally go after this Dan King guy and get to the bottom of this. Because, again, you make a YouTube video, asshole, and I comment on it, okay? That's not harassment. I'm not sending this to you directly. I'm not sending you fucking emails. I'm not calling you like you call Baby Momma 14 billion times a fucking day and then make videos with her face and say, this bitch isn't calling me back. What a selfish cunt she is, okay? That's harassment, okay? Sending somebody death threats. That's harassment. Again, the fucking hypocrisy with you is fucking amazing. You're getting the police involved because you harass and dox and fucking send people death threats. It's fucking incredible to me. And again, in case, Walter, there's any confusion, let me play you an example of what real defamation is.
Come on, Dan King. Come on, you self-righteous cocksucker, leftist, socialist. How much you want to bet? You want to bet that he actually fondles his own kids, his own son, neck-bearded Barney Rubble caveman-looking motherfucker? Comment, Dan. Come on, Dan. Let's see what you got, Dan. Come on, you fucking neck-bearded faggot with your ugly-looking fiance, whose forehead is bigger than a fucking landing strip on a goddamn aircraft carrier.
Okay, so that, Wally, that's you suggesting to your audience of 16, 17, 1,800 people that, like, I molest my kids, okay? That's defamation. I could get a lawyer and go after you if I wanted to waste everyone's time with that bullshit, okay? That's slander. You're making up an accusation about me with zero evidence. Slander, defamation. You do it because you're a fucking hypocrite. And also, in that clip, you talk about my beautiful fiance's forehead being the size of an aircraft carrier. Wally, that really upsets me. I don't know where you're getting this idea that her forehead is the size of an aircraft carrier. She's a very beautiful girl. I'll put up a picture on the screen. There she is. She's so beautiful. I love her so much. It infuriates me every time you make fun of her. How dare you, sir? And talking about hypocrisy, it's now time for Hypocrisy Minute. Hypocrisy Minute. Okay, so anyone out there who has any, like, you know, skills with making music, I'm looking to get like a 5 to 10 second clip, maybe like, you know, something that harkens to like the 1940 radio ads where you have like a bunch of women, like 3 or 4 women going, Hypocrisy Minute, and like a little jingle, maybe a little ding at the end. I want somebody to make that for me and send it to me. I'm not going to pay you. Maybe I'll give you credit for it if you really want, but you probably don't even want me giving you credit for it on the air because Wally will write down your name and you'll get a death threat for making music for my channel. But anyway, that's part of my dream. Somebody who knows how to make music, get some female friends together to go, Hypocrisy Minute, ding, and a little music, and I'll put that with the little graphic that I just had on the screen, because I think I'm going to make it a regular part of this show. So in this episode of Hypocrisy Minute, we're going to look at a recent video Wally made where he's talking about how ashamed he is at his other content providers for doing shit that he absolutely positively does himself. So here we go.
It's attention seeking. It's narcissism at its finest. A lot of guys out there, unfortunately, a lot of content creators, a lot of people in general are jealous. They're angry. They're miserable. They're not going any place in their lives. Their channels have gone stale. They're not growing in any way. You know, and these are the guys that are throwing the biggest temper tantrums out there. These are the guys that are showing their most, you know, showing the hatred the most. I personally don't enjoy it because it makes no sense to me, because it's nothing but shaming and making fun of a guy, making fun of their looks, you know, bringing their families into it, you know, and it gets really personal after a while, and I just don't like it. Instead of having a debate, they choose to attack, you know, a person's character, a person's looks, a person's family. It's really disgusting. But, you know, you got people here on YouTube, they're simply not going anywhere. Their channels aren't growing, they aren't growing, and the only thing left that they have is to the only way they could draw attention to themselves and their content is to start problems with people. And usually it's for no reason at all, except that, well, look at how he looks. Look at how he sounds. Let's make fun of him, and let's make fun of his issues, and make fun. And that's usually how it starts, because there's no debate. There's no discussion to be had. It's always attacking somebody's personality, their emotional state, their financial state, the things that they have, their kids. You know, they go after, you know, all these other things, but they will never sit down with you and talk and debate with you. It's always, you know, they always go on these tirades and these attacks. You know, they attack your character, they attack your personality. You know, they threaten, they send death threats to you. It's really disgusting.
Okay, so that video speaks for itself. Wally, you know, again, like he says shit, and I thought it was just me, but like other people will listen to the video, and I'll get a thing. I'm like, did you hear the hypocrisy out of this guy's mouth? So Wally, I'm not the only person like rolling their eyes when they hear you talking about, oh yes, these other content creators, sometimes they send each other death threats. Can you imagine? And I think part of it is like you're trying to like distance yourself. Like, oh, I just talked about how terrible it is to send death threats. So there's no way that I could have sent a death threat because I just said how bad it is. Again, Wally, again, you're not tricking the bad guys. If anything, You're drawing attention to sending people death threats, and they're going, why is this man mentioning sending death threats to people? It's like, it doesn't work. The Kevin Foley's mom defense doesn't work. So, okay, I'm looking at my notes. So the next thing I want to show you guys is this video. It was a pain in the ass to make. I think it's going to be fun and educational and funny. The theme of it is mowing lawns and aviation history. So strap in and get ready for my newest little video. Ready? So in this Maga Man clip, we will hear Walter ranting about how no one appreciated all the things he did around the house back when he was living with Baby Momma. Ready?
Even when I was in that home, I used to mow the lawn. I'd wash the driveway, clean the backyard, pull the weeds, throw out the garbage. You got to see what I did in that home for them. And all I wanted was a thank you, or at least a helping hand or something. Anything. Anybody that was at that house knows what I did. Then I would never even get a simple thank you. Just say thank you. And it drove me to such depression. It started me drinking.
Okay, so here's a bird's eye view of the house Wally used to live in with Baby Momma back in the day. According to Wally's disclaimer he touted in a previous video, it's perfectly legit to display this picture as long as I don't show any street names. Also, Wally mentions in another video that Baby Momma and her family have since moved out of this house. Walter does this by telling his audience the street name and town where she moved to, as well as posting a picture of her new home, essentially doxing her. Of course, Wally denies it, but he's a lying liar with no credibility. If you are interested in seeing exactly how Wally doxes Mitzi's new digs, I've linked fellow Maga Man hater and troll Babu Parsek's short video covering this in the comments below. Now, if you have a sharp eye, you will notice that each of these buildings is actually a two-family house. Wally and Baby Momma's old home is represented here in red. If you have even a sharper eye, you will notice Wally's red RAV4 parked in front because this satellite image was taken about 2 months before Wally was thrown out of the house. So there's a good chance Wally is actually in this picture somewhere. Now the reason I'm showing you this image is because in the Maga Man clip I played before, Wally bitches that back when he was living here, no one thanked him enough for all the work he did around the place, including mowing the lawn. I'd like to point out that the lawn he wants recognition for mowing is right here. That's it. That's the entire lawn he wanted thanks for mowing. You could probably trim all the grass in that lawn with a pair of scissors in less than an hour. So I wanted to describe how ridiculously small Wally's lawn was in the most ridiculous way possible. And also, I wanted to do my own version of those size comparison videos that you see going around on social media. So here I go. I'm going to compare Wally's lawn size with some of my favorite aircraft of all time. Strap in because this is going to be both fun and educational. So the little green rectangle is the lawn Wally used to not get thanked for mowing. It's hard to tell here just how small it is. I could simply tell you the dimensions of the lawn, but that would not be fun and barely educational. So instead, I've chosen 3 real-world aircraft that I will compare to scale to Wally's tiny lawn. None of that sci-fi, leftist, communist, liberal former home of New York, blue-haired Star Wars crap that nerds like. No, these are real aircraft designed by real people that actually fly. The first plane I'd like to discuss is the Fokker DR-1, the plane made famous by World War I German ace Manfred von Richthofen, better known as the Red Baron. You know, that dude who keeps shooting poor Snoopy in his doghouse out of the sky. Designed in 1917, this World War I triplane looks fucking awesome, but in reality, it kinda sucked. It was smaller and more maneuverable than other planes at the time, making it harder to shoot down, but it was also slower, harder to land, and the top wing had a bad habit of detaching in mid-flight, causing the plane to crash and burn, often killing the pilot. In fact, the Red Baron's brother, Lothar von Richthofen, was seriously injured when this very thing happened to him. Ultimately, not many of these triplanes were made because word got out that they kind of sucked to fly, and soon after, Fokker manufactured a more reliable but less cool-looking Fokker D7. The length of the tiny Fokker DR-1 clocks in at a mere 18 feet. Here's how it compares to Wally's lawn. The next aircraft on my list is the impressive A-10 Warthog. Just look at this beast. In 1961, some crazy Air Force bigwig was like, we want an attack plane that has this gigantic gun sticking out the front of it, and all these missiles and shit under each wing so it looks fucking sick. It also has to have redundant systems, incredible survivability, and to be able to be flown by a single pilot. And at that point, some engineer nerd, probably named something like Bert, was like, gee whiz, guys, I don't know, that sounds pretty crazy. Where the bigwig guy was like, shut the fuck up, Bert, just make the fucking thing, you asshole. So, by 1976, the US had a shitload of these machines, and the rest was history. Hear that sound? Is that the sound of Wally's ass a few hours after eating Taco Bell? No, it's the sound of the A-10's giant 7-barrel, 30mm hydraulically driven rotary cannon shooting mildly radioactive depleted uranium tank-busting shells at 70 rounds per second. It's the single most powerful gun ever attached to an aircraft. The A-10 is still in use today, but every few years some pencil-pushing accountant type is like, hey guys, these planes are getting kind of old and getting more expensive to maintain. Also, we now have use of modern drone aircraft to do the same job without risking the life of a living pilot. Where the rest of the Air Force dudes are like, shut the fuck up, Bert, you nerd, we all love this fucking plane, asshole. You see, you can't paint a scary face on the front of a tiny little drone because it would look fucking stupid. Also, the grunts on the ground get a plus 100 morale bonus when they know they have A-10 air support on a mission. And so, the A-10 Warthog will remain part of a military arsenal to at least 2030 and possibly beyond. The A-10 is a large beast at around 54 feet. Let's see how it compares to Wally's Lawn and the Fokker DR-1. Okay, the last plane I'd like to talk about is the badly named SR-17, also known as the Blackbird. Look at this fucking plane. Just look at it. It's fucking beautiful. I know what some of you are thinking. Hey, Dan, you fucking idiot. That's the fictional X-Jet from the movie X-Men First Class, you moron. Where I would then say, well, actually, we're both right. You see, despite its futuristic look, this aircraft was actually built in 1964. So it was the perfect choice for the fictional X-Jet since X-Men First Class took place in an alternate 1962. And the Blackbird was in development at that time. Unlike its fictional comic book counterpart, the real Blackbird can't hover and doesn't carry any weapons because this beauty was built purely for speed. In fact, this is the fastest jet to ever fly. Well, actually, that's not 100% true. There's this other fucking useless piece of shit experimental X-Series jet that was designed just to go really fast and do nothing else. The fucking thing couldn't even take off like a normal plane. So I'm not even going to talk about the stupid fucking X-15, okay? Anyway, the Blackbird could fly at an incredibly high altitude of 85,000 feet and cruise at a staggering Mach 3.2 or 2,500 miles per hour. This intense cruising speed caused the jet's outer skin to reach 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, which in Celsius is who the fuck cares because this is America and we don't do Celsius here, asshole. The Blackbird was retired in 1998 because we now have satellites and drones and shit. But man, look at this plane. In fact, if you are in New York City and you want to get a real good look at one, be sure to visit the Intrepid Air and Space Museum. The Intrepid is a retired World War II aircraft carrier permanently moored in the Hudson River and converted into a floating museum. A Blackbird is on the top deck and is totally visible when you approach the museum. Of course, you will have to wade through the multitude of corpses and smoking ruins left in the wake of the out-of-control leftist socialist BLM and Antifa insurgents that currently control all of Wally's former home of New York State. I'll put up a map that Maga Man recently used as a thumbnail for one of his videos. Okay, since Wally is stuck in the past, it seems fitting that he would use this 71-year-old painting from the August 5th, 1950 edition of Collier magazine, speculating what would happen if a Hiroshima-like event were to happen in New York City. We could still use this map to show the approximate location of the Intrepid Museum. It's right about there, east and a little north of the completely engulfed flaming 1920-style cruise ship. Okay, let's see how the 107-foot Blackbird measures up to the other two aircraft and Wally's minuscule lawn that he wanted admiration for mowing. Okay, so there you have it. Wally's ridiculously small lawn, the Fokker DR-1, the A-10 Warthog, and the SR-17 Blackbird. Of course, I could have just told you up top that Wally's tiny lawn was only 13 foot by 9 foot, but that would have been no fun at all and barely educational. And speaking about educational, as a final tidbit of information, I'd like to point out that all three of these awesome aircraft could, in theory, take off and land from my fiance's giant forehead. Okay, I hope you jerks enjoyed that. That was very hard to make. I'm probably not going to do it again because it was a pain in the ass. And, yeah, so anyway, I want to just talk about some regular old Wally stuff. So, one of the things Wally does, which I meant to talk about in some previous videos, but I keep forgetting to do it, is this thing that, Wally, it infuriates me, so get ready to write it down, because, oh boy, it infuriates Dan. You keep on talking about, it's usually part of your videos when you're like, give me a second chance. excuse me, I deserve a second chance. You know, people like they just remember the bad thing that you did, and they never give you another chance. And then you go on and you describe how, like, oh yeah, sure, I had trouble with alcohol, and yeah, I used to drink, you know, but like when people change and they're not an alcoholic anymore, like you should get another chance. And well, first of all, you say this like you make it like you went out of your way to stop drinking, when the reality is you had a fucking gun in your mouth, and the police and EMTs, they hold you away and they put you in a hospital for 2 days to observe your mental health. Again, you know, no evidence that there's any mental illness with Wally. But they're observing you, and part of that is like you had to get therapy and you had to talk about shit. And that's when you make the videos when you're like, oh yes, I had problems with alcohol, but guess what? I haven't drank in like a whole week and I'm cured. I'm no longer an alcoholic. And every time you say, you also use the term ex-alcoholic. You talk about one of the Star Wars guys that you probably spent some time in a car with this guy. Like you probably had to go to an event that was an hour away. So the guy was driving with you and opened up about his personal life. And you, of course, being a son of a bitch that you are, you took that information, and now that you don't like him, you out his shit. So one of the things you do is you talk about this guy and you say, oh yes, he's an ex-alcoholic. He used to have problems with alcohol, and he got himself in all these problems, but you know, he got help, and now he's an ex-alcoholic. And in your videos, again, you talk about how, oh, I used to be an alcoholic and now I'm all better.
So if people are constantly labeling you, let's just say, for example, that you're an alcoholic and you're never going to change, and you actually do go out of your way to get help, and you're no longer an alcoholic, these people still hold you to those judgments and constantly scrutinize you, and they treat you like they were treating you if you had a bottle in your hand. At that point, what's the point in going out and trying to improve your life and fix yourself?
Okay, it's like, okay, asshole, ready? Sit down. Okay, the way I know that you've absolutely done nothing to get your drinking and drug addiction, whatever the fuck is wrong with you, like under control, is because you say shit like ex-alcoholic and I used to be an alcoholic, okay? I've been to AA meetings and NA meetings, and before you start with the fucking rumors and shit, I don't have any problems with drugs or alcohol, okay? I have family members and friends that had problems with drugs and alcohol, and they invite me to go to meetings with them when they go to AA and NA, which is a big honor. It's like, you know, you're trusting somebody, and they want you to see their world, and it's an honor to be invited to one of those things. So yeah, I've been to NA meetings and AA meetings, and the first thing you learn, if you ever went to one, Walter, which you never did, is that they'll have a guy come up and it'll be some old dude. He'll be like, hey, my name's Larry and I'm an alcoholic. And everyone goes, hey, Larry. And Larry will say, I haven't drank in 13 years. Okay, so like what I'm getting at is, like, this guy, he's calling himself an alcoholic. Even though he hasn't touched a bottle of beer in 13, 20, 28 years, it doesn't matter. Because part of the thing when you actually go to get help for your fucking problem is they teach you you're always an addict. You're always an alcoholic. You're never, I'm done. I'm an ex-alcoholic. I graduated. It never happens, because anyone who's serious about getting help for their problems knows that if they have a bad day or they think, oh, I could just have this beer just one time, whatever, they're right back on the wagon or off the wagon. I don't remember if being on the wagon is good or bad. Okay, but these people know. And part of the, usually it's like a 12-step program, which is a detailed thing where you have to like take notes and study and fucking apologize to people in your life for fucking around with them. You're just like, I did it, baby mama. I'm not an alcoholic anymore, and you're a bitch because you don't take me back, okay? That infuriates Dan, all right? So write that one down in your book of shit that infuriates Dan. Unfortunately, it's not a physical thing you could shoot because you think that gets me mad, okay? But yeah, Wally, stop dishonoring people who actually get help for their fucking addiction problems by saying ex-alcoholic and I'm not an alcoholic anymore, because it's not a fucking thing, you fool. This is like when you say beer is an alcohol. It's the same dumbass thing. Stop saying that phrase, okay? You just make yourself look like a fool. And I'm not saying, Wally, I'm not on my high horse saying you need to get help for your problems. Please keep drinking like a fish, because every time you do, you get to that computer when you're drunk as a skunk and you make a dumb fucking video or you say something stupid and you dig a hole deeper, and I get to make 18 more fucking videos, okay? So please, don't stop drinking. In fact, maybe you should start using opioids again. That would be great. All right, one of the other things I want to talk about is I want to talk about this a while ago, but I keep forgetting about it. Wally makes it's a Memorial Day video, and it's a video honoring Grandpa. As we all know, Wally talks about his grandfather. He served in World War II, and when he got back, he was involved with some hunting accident when he got shot in the stomach. Who the hell knows? If he's related to Walter, somebody probably shot him in the stomach because he's an asshole. But we're going to give the guy a benefit of the doubt. Actually, he went and fought Nazis apparently. So I'm not going to talk any shit about his grandpa, even though I probably just did. But anyway, in Wally's video, he's honoring Grandpappy. So he has a picture of the man's military picture on the screen and a picture of his tombstone, which is fucking weird. But then as that's on the screen, Walter starts saying shit like this.
YouTube seems to be eating the comments that you guys are posting, unless it's a dumb, Star Wars freak or Satan worshiping Mason or, one of the other haters and trolls that are out there. I deeply apologize for that. I've gone through my YouTube studio 1,000 times. Comments are enabled. Unless, you're one of the aforementioned, neck-bearded, no-neck idiots that are out there, who are, worshiping me at every turn, just enjoying the smell of my taint underneath my ball sack. It's not me deleting your comments.
Okay, so in case you're wondering, I didn't edit that video at all. That's the video that Wally made and shared, voluntarily, where he has a picture of Grandpappy and Grandpappy's tombstone, and at the same time is talking about what he wants me to do to his taint. And Walter, I don't need the, graphic description, okay? I know what a taint is. You don't have to say, it's under your ball sack, okay? I know where a taint is. I'm a grown man, okay? I have one myself. I just don't talk about it because it's something you don't bring up in polite conversation, Walter. Also, it's something that you don't bring up if you have wild accusations about you being homoerotic and a homosexual man, because every time you try to make a joke about your enemies, you bring up like your balls or your dick or your asshole and what you want your enemies to do to it, okay?
Slippery when Cobell. You know why he's so slippery? Because every time he gets down on his knees to suck my prick, he gets all that wonderful jizz all over that gross, ugly-looking fucking cock of a nose of his. Take a look at that thing.
So, you're like a gay man. In fact, I have this later on in my notes, but I think I want to bring it up now. Walter, as you know, you posted a picture of your tire cover on your community page. Let me elaborate. You posted a picture of your tire cover on your totally 100% public community page on your YouTube channel. And you're like, oh boy, look at my thing, and you're bragging about it. Anyway, I didn't do it. I don't know who posted it, but somebody posted it to some Facebook group. I'm not going to tell you the group because you will go there and attack them nonstop. But I'll put it on the screen. So this is your tire cover, and it was on some website. And Walter, none of these people are sympathizing with you. They're all making fun of your ridiculous fucking tire cover. And if you look at the comments, the likes or whatever, over 1,000 people have seen this, and they're cracking up. And the comments keep going and going and going. I'll put some of the comments on the screen to infuriate you, Wally. So what I'm getting at is I'm not the only one who sees that thing and listens to you talk about the homoerotic things you're going to do to your enemies and thinks that you're a homosexual man, because some of these 1,000+ people that saw it are thinking the same thing. They're like, yeah, this man is obviously like a gay man, and he's all but he's in this world where he can't come out because he's probably a conservative Christian, and he's all frustrated. So now he has to remind everyone how he's super straight, and he can't stand those alphabet people. Well, you're probably a gay man, so just fucking, stop beating around the bush, pun intended, and just come out of the fucking closet. You would be embraced by that community. If you made again, I brought this up a while ago, if you made a YouTube channel, and it was all rainbows, and you were talking, dramatically about how you came out, and you were closeted, and you said, and then you came, that community would embrace you. They would give you all the attention that you want. Well, they would probably do that for a few months, and then they'd realize that you're a drama queen, and that even those guys would throw you out. But it would give you a good year of love and embrace and whatever. So just fucking do it, man. Who cares? I'm looking at my notes again. Oh, and I guess the last thing I want to talk about is, so I actually, again, this was something that I heard you say a while ago, and I'll play the clip, but in it, you mildly bring up like how, oh, there's some accusations out there against me, and some of you guys have told me that I should address it, but I'm not going to address it unless it's something that I need to address, and YouTube really doesn't like it when I address those things. Anyway, I'll play you the clip, and we'll talk about it.
It just gets to a point where, like, I don't even want to see it in my feed anymore, and I know there's a few of you guys who are out there that have been sending me stuff and, you know, want me to acknowledge it. But, you know, the only way I'm going to acknowledge things anymore is if the accusation is so severe and so egregious that it will elicit an eventual response from me. But, like I said, YouTube doesn't like that. YouTube frowns upon that sort of thing. And I'm trying to avoid that. But when accusations against me are so outright egregious and full of lies and deceit, then what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to present my story with facts, data, statistics, photographs, paperwork, whatever it takes.
So yeah, I don't really understand this clip, because here's a guy, Wally, you're a guy, you make this channel, and you attack people, and you say what you want, and you make it a big pride. I could say and do what I want in this channel, and people try to shut me down, and blah, 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 and all this shit. But meanwhile, you're like, oh, there's accusations about me, but I don't want to get YouTube mad, and they don't like to like, what it sounds like is you're trying to weasel out of some of the real accusations about you out there, Wally. I bring up some stuff. I call you a liar, and I show you being a liar. I say you do this shit for attention, where you commit suicide a dozen times, and I have the receipts for it, Wally. And you just be like, oh, Dan King says I do stuff for attention. That's bullshit. Blah, blah. And that's all you say on it. Like that's bullshit, and you move on. Meanwhile, I'm giving my audience receipts. I'm showing them what you do. I show them when you when you change your screen name and you lurk around on channels trying to get people's attention. Talk about that. Talk about how you exhausted everybody emotionally and the other groups you're at with your constant drama. That's what I accuse you of. You just go, oh, Dan King says I get attention. That's bullshit. Anyway, next topic. No, asshole. Why don't you fucking talk about it? Why don't you talk about, I accused you of sending death threats to me and Slippery. Don't hear anything on it. We just hear like, I'm being harassed. Wally, you sent me a death threat, okay? And I'm talking about it. That's not harassment, okay? What you did is fucking harassment. Talk about that. Don't just dismiss. Don't be like, oh, I can't talk about it because, you know, YouTube doesn't like that, and I'm not going to talk about things unless it's really egregious and blah, blah. Like, it's a bullshit fucking excuse you gave. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, some of you know, again, you know, Walter, Mr. like, oh, cancel culture is bad, and Gina Carraro and all these people, cancel culture is so bad. What did Wally do? Wally went above and beyond and recruited his MAGA army to shut down a man that he didn't like what he said. He shut down Slippery. Slippery got a copyright strike, and his channel was shut down. So well done, Walter. It's not going to change anything because, like I said in the previous video, when you poke and prod your enemies, especially when they're Masons with lots of money, they're gonna like, it's not over, Walter. You didn't do it, okay? Because it's just gonna keep fucking going. Because you don't stop. You're like, they won't let it go. Dude, every other video, you bring up your trolls and the guys from New York and the Star Wars freaks and the devil worshiping Masons. You don't fucking stop with your latest community post. Oh, I'm going to the police. Again, you're going to the police with my name. Wally, why don't you tell them what you do to me and other people? I'm sure you've conveniently forgot that. Again, when the cops call me up, what do you think I'm going to tell them? Do you think they're going to hold me away? They're going to have a conversation with me again because I already spoke to them, asshole, about you and what the fuck is wrong with you, that you're in this world and people attack you and people there's multiple channels of it. Like, they're not going, oh, let's go after these people. They want to know why, what you're doing, Walter. That you've created this fucking world, okay? They're not sympathizing with a man who's shooting lead ammunition in his apartment, and now he's in trouble for it. Like, they're not gonna take your side of it. Like I said, they went there to look around to see like how crazy Walter. They use it as an excuse to check up on you, Walter. That's what went down when they came and told you how to and gave you tools for your fucking toolbox, okay? It was a little mini wellness check without fucking calling the ambulance and all the other shit, all the other resources that you waste, okay? They're not your friends. I know you have all their business cards, and you probably got some more. You're probably all excited. I can't wait for when you fan them out. But they're not your friends, okay? So yeah, Slippery was shut down, but he has a backup channel. I'll link all that shit below. And in fact, I got my laptop next to me. You can't see it, but it's from 1995. It has Windows 95 on it, of course. I upgraded from Windows 3.11. Windows 3.11 for workgroups. It's a better, anyway, it's Windows 95. And hold on, it's the only way you can get in touch with Slippery, because he's still using AOL. I got it's RJ45 jack for an old phone. I gotta plug it in to the thing. And hold on, we gotta connect to AOL. It takes a while for the handshake to go through. It's still dialing up. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, it doesn't connect the first time around. Well, we're almost there. Oh, there's the sound. Yep. And okay, it's almost there. Okay. 1 second, guys. It's the only way I can get. He's like an older guy. He only uses. Okay. Oh, we're connected. Good. Okay.
You've got mail.
All right, let me just type this out. Okay. And send. Okay.
Goodbye.
All right. So yeah. So now Slippery knows that I plugged this channel, and Slippery, once again, you're beholden to me. Everything that you do is mine. And I think that's it. Anyway, I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff. But Wally, he keeps on making material. I can't wait to see how the police saga hangs up. And guys, if you don't hear from me, somebody check CMPD. You may have to bail me out. And Dan King signing off. Bye!